So for this design for a website, the website that we're designing this for is the school website. Let me bring that up. It's actually just cchs.canyonsdistrict.org. This is our school website, and I happen to manage this website, and so I can put whatever I want on here. And so what I typically do is have students design something a few times every semester, and I put it up on the website for display. So usually there's some advertisements on this banner for different things, Sterling Scholar applications this week. And so I put either pictures that I've taken or I've found and put them up on the website and put some text and stuff on there. So the problem with this year is that this banner ad changes sizes with the website, the browser size. So it's hard to put text on there because it just resizes and sometimes it gets hidden. And so I think instead of having you design a banner ad for this, I'm going to come right down here and post something about fall break this week or end of the quarter next week. And this picture, sometimes they come with these pictures from the district, and I found the dimensions of this picture, and we're going to design a little ad image, and I'm going to put it right here as I talk about fall break or end of the first quarter. So that's what we're doing. I have two classes, small classes of graphic design, and I'm going to pick the one that I like the most and stick it right here on the website for a week or so, a couple days. So let's find out how to do it. In Photoshop, if you open up Photoshop, go to File, New to create a new document, and we're not going to worry about what comes up here. We're just going to come right over here to the manual settings, and we're going to put in the dimensions of this thing, which is 850 pixels wide and 275 tall. Keep everything else the same. Make sure this says pixels, however, and then click Create. And this is the exact size of that image right there. So we're going to design something, and I'll pick my favorite one and put it on the website. So the first thing I wanted you to do was go outside and take a picture with your camera phone, with a nice camera, with a parent's phone, whatever it is. I just want you to take a picture of the fall, something that looks like fall, okay? Whether it's colored leaves or the mountain or the school even. If you live by the school, you could come take a picture of the school. Just something outside, taking a picture and using your picture. So I went outside this morning and took some pictures, or just a little while ago. And my phone is old and not great, but I got a picture. So here's the one that I liked of the tree and the sky. It's beautiful blue sky today. That's great. So here's my picture. I brought it in by what I did is I took the picture on my phone, I emailed it to myself and got it on my computer, downloaded it from my email, and then brought it in, just file open, and brought this picture in. So now I'm going to click this picture, drag, and go up here to my document that I just created and throw it on there. Now you can see how bad my camera is. It's all pixelated. But this thing's huge, so if I scroll out, pictures are usually a lot bigger than a banner ad on a website, as is this one. It's huge. So I'm going to resize that one and make it smaller so I can see more of my picture. If my picture was really clear, I could use that right there, but it's not. So make sure, if you don't see this box right here, make sure you click right here, Show Transform Controls, then you'll see it. Then if I just click on a corner and drag it down both sides, there's my image. And you can use whatever part of the image you want. And so I'm just going to drag it down a little bit and use that. I can bump it with my arrow keys, left, right, up, and down, just pressing the arrow keys. Okay, that's good. I'm going to check it and say that I like it. I'm going to zoom back in, holding down Alt and scroll wheel. Okay, so I'm going to hide that for just a second so that I can get some text on here. There's not much text to put in here. T for the shortcut of the text. I am just going to type, let's see, I'm going to get my settings back to a little bit more default. Okay, so I'm going to type, for this one, fall break. If you want to do a fall break ad, you need to do it by Tuesday night. If I get it by Tuesday night, I'm going to pick one on Wednesday morning and put it on the website. If you don't get it done by Tuesday night, you need to do a end of the first quarter ad for next week. So and that will be done by Saturday night. Okay, so I've got some simple text here. Not sure why it's bright reds, but I'm going to change that. Yeah, right up here. And I'm going to change that to, let's just go white, actually. Click and drag into that corner. Click OK. I want it white. Oops, I need to select it all. And the reason is because I've got that picture. So now I guess I'm going to show that picture, and there's my text. So I'm going to select that text. And I made mine white because I have lots of color in the background. You can make it whatever color you want. Fall colors are nice for a fall advertisement. So dark greens and browns, reds, yellows, those are kind of our fall colors typically. So I'm now going to make this really big. Okay, one of the 3 things I need to do with text is change the size, which is one of my favorites, change the font, or change the color. So I'm going to change 2 of them today. But for this, I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to make it really big. So I'm just going to click on these T's up here by the size and drag it really big. I'm just not going to be afraid to make this huge. That's one mistake beginners make, is being afraid to make things really huge. Okay, so I've got it the whole width of the ad. That's cool. But I might want to break that up a little bit. So I'm going to click in the middle and press enter. And there it is, on one on top of the other, which I like, but it's touching, and so I don't want that. In fact, now is probably a good time to change the font. So I'm going to change the font and find a nice, interesting looking font. And fonts you could spend all day looking for one that you really like. In fact, I go back and forth so much with fonts, looking for good ones. But I'm just going to choose a quick one for now. That one's fine. So it's really big. It's still kind of touching. So I'm going to select it and come over to my Properties panel. If you don't see that, go to Windows and Properties. And then I've got my font over here. I've got the size of the text over here. And this thing right here is the gap in between. So as I click and drag that, I can see how close or far away it is. And I like it close, just not touching. So that's pretty cool right there. I'm going to apply it and drag it right there. See, look at this thing. It's massive. And it's good to have a little border around it, about the same size on top and side and bottom. So I like it. I like it super big. It's great. I'm going to keep that. And it's a little bit, I've got kind of a lot going on back there, and so I can't see it great. I can see it okay, but I'm just going to do a little text effect. So I don't always do this, but I'm going to do it here. Text effect. So I've got my text layer selected, and I'm going to do a little drop shadow right here, just to separate it a little bit from the background, and so it's not, the leaves aren't getting in the way of seeing the text. When you put text, you got to be able to see it really well. So I can make it bigger or smaller. I've got my preview on right here. See, there's without, and there it is with. I don't want it that thick. I just want a little bit. Even if I can't really tell it's there, I can tell that it's separating. See, I can see it so much better with that. Okay, that's good. Now, the other text I need is just a little bit of, I'm going to press T again. I'm going to make this a lot smaller. So here's the hierarchy of text sizes. Something really big, something medium, and something small. But if I only have 2 things, I might just go really big and really small. Or medium works also. If they're interested in the ad by seeing this giant, this pretty picture and the giant text, they're going to come looking for details. So this is the details. It's pretty small. This is the date. So I'm going to do October 15-16. Okay. And I'm going to change the font on this to just something simple. I used my decorative for the real big part. This is just details. I don't need it super fancy, so I'm going to make it not fancy. Just a simple sans serif is great with a decorative. That's a good combination. I'm going to get my move tool, and I'm going to move that down here somewhere. I'm going to stick it right there, kind of in the middle of everything going on here. Middle of that font, the middle of this blue sky right there, so I can see it well. Okay, so that's pretty good. Big text, small text, 2 different fonts, same color, but I've got 2 of the 3 things and that's looking pretty good. Now, couple things. This thing's just floating out here in the middle of nowhere. We haven't talked much about lines and shapes and different elements of design to add to the design to make it look really good. But I'm going to add something here, which is just a simple shape. So I'm going to click this square, and I'm going to put a little bar right here all the way across, right where my date is. And it's going to be bright red. No, it's not going to be bright red. I'm going to pick like a maybe dark green. And I'm going to send it to the back. So I'm going to, no, let's see. It's right here. So I'm going to click and drag this all the way down just above the image. So it's behind all the text, but above the image. And then I don't want that solid. That's pretty distracting. I'm going to take the opacity of that layer down so I can see what's behind it, and just pretty low. So it's not real loud on there, but it is a nice little line that goes right through the middle of this break word, and then this is right in the middle of it. So it kind of gives somewhere for this date to sit and just adds a little interest with that shape right there. Yeah, I like that. It looks good. So it doesn't matter that you, obviously I don't want you to make it to look just like this. These are just ideas of how to do some things using shapes, using different fonts and sizes and colors. So you make it how you want with the picture that you have. There's a million different things that I could do with this. And about this time I start to kind of play around with things and change things and see if I like them or not. I duplicate layers and toggle on and off different changes that I make. So there's so many things I can do with this. I just wanted to show you some example of how to do that. Now with the end of the first quarter, let me show you something completely different. So I mean, like I said, there's so many things you can do. I've got the picture here that's not faded out, but I made some shapes and slanted them just for some interest, and made the picture on this half, put the picture on this half and the text on this half. One thing I like to do with numbers, if I ever have a number, is just make it really huge. See, this is just really big, and it's not as much of a part of it as it, as it could be. I mean, it is, but it's just way out there. So end of first quarter, and there's just a big 1 right there. Or, I mean, I could do something like end of, I could put this up here, and I could hold down shift and select both of these and put this up here. Well, I could leave it right there, I guess. And then instead of typing first, I will type, oops, I already have the 1, so ST for, so that says first, so something like this. End of first quarter. So that's more together with that text. I mean, there's just so many things. This is just a shape, so I got the square right here, and I made it just like this, and then got my move tool and slanted it just like that. So I can put stripes all over the place. There's just so many things I can do to make it look good and interesting, just something different. See, if I get rid of this right here, if I hide this shape, there's my whole picture. I just covered it with a shape. So lots of things you can do. Play around with all of that and make a design. Make sure though that there's good typography. Okay, you're changing the color or the font or the size of it, at least one of those things. You need to have a picture that you took, and then adding anything else, lines or shapes or colors, is just all kind of extra that you can do to make it look good. So then you'll save it as a JPEG and submit that. And so save it as a JPEG and a Photoshop file, and then submit both. If there's something that I need to tweak a little bit for the website or whatever, then I can do that with the Photoshop file.